Hey guys, Happy New Year. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's party. So I'm going to kick off this year talking about EEAT, EEAT. So this is some updates that Google released right at the end of last year that you might have missed. It was kind of late December, mid to late December. Some updates about website content that Google has included in its QRG, so that's quality rater guidelines. And quality raters are just humans that Google basically employs to check its homework. So when they, produce search results, they have groups of human beings who go and check them according to Google's guidelines to make sure that the algorithms are working in the way that they intend them to. So many of you will already probably know this, I'm sure. And many of you will also be familiar with the acronym EAT, EAT, which stands for Expertise, Authoritativeness, and Trustworthiness, which was the previous sort of guideline acronym, which came out a few years ago, I think maybe 2019, 2018, something like that. Well, the EAT is now getting an extra E, so it's going to be EAT, which the first E now stands for experience. So essentially what Google is doing is trying to find out who's created the content and what the likelihood is that they know what they're talking about, basically. So they've changed some of the wording in the quality rated guidelines to focus on originality. And essentially what they're trying to do is pull information from experienced individuals, regardless of the organization that they work for or their background. So they've also done some things like changing the site quality requirements for businesses, volunteer groups. Essentially, there's going to be a higher required level of quality for businesses that are investing lots of money than there is for things like volunteer groups. And that's kind of because volunteers, you might have some great experts on something that people are searching for, but they might have a kind of crappier website because they don't have as much time and energy to invest. So Google's kind of recognizing a lot of that in the quality rated guidelines. The other thing that they've kind of put in there, and there's loads in there, I will share some articles in the comments because there's lots of stuff, lots of really interesting stuff. But another thing they've said is that the T of EAT is the most important one. It kind of sits at the heart of it all. And this is because pages essentially are going to rank badly if they fail on trust, regardless of how expert or authoritative they are. So essentially the raters assess trust on whether it's accurate, honest, safe, and reliable. So yeah, lots going on there. And I think it's kind of interesting that there's this focus on experience and originality at a time where a lot of people are going to be thinking about using AI tools like ChatGPT to write their SEO content. It would suggest that would be a bad idea. And clearly, Google has spent a lot of time and money itself on investing in AI. They understand it very well. And I think the reason why they're making some of these changes is to ward that off. So I said in the ChatGPT video I put out last year, one thing that ChatGPT, the AI writing tool, is not very good at is new stuff. And that's because it's been trained on a massive data set that already exists, and it kind of cuts off at around 2020. And so it's really just regurgitating what's already out there. Now, that's great if you're trying to train a tool to write. What it's not good for is getting good quality information on new things. And obviously, Google wants to be as up-to-date as it possibly can be. So this slightly change in focus on their quality rated guidelines, I think, reflects that fact. They want provenance. They want experienced content creators, experienced and identifiable content creators writing about stuff that they really know about. And so, I do think it's wise. I do think it's timely. And what that means from a marketer's point of view, I think, is that you really want identifiable people on the content that you're putting out. So, I know that thought leaders in businesses don't really have the time to be writing lots of content, but perhaps what they do have time to do is give you some bullet points or some interview time that your copywriters can then go away and write up for them. They can proof and post under their own name, because that would mean that it's well-written content, but it's under an identifiable creator. The owner of the website is also really important as well. So just having identifiable humans and original expert content creators is going to have a big impact on your Google rankings over the next year, I think. So yeah, I'll put a link to some of the articles that I've seen and the Google page in the comments below. Would love to hear if you found any other interesting nuggets in there. And yeah, I would love to hear from you on anything really. And I will see you next week.